Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the Sevens, the last of the pool stages before we head into the quarterfinals. This one, New Zealand versus Fiji. Now, New Zealand have already confirmed their spot through to the quarterfinals. Fiji, there is still a possibility that they can make it through, but it would take a mammoth effort in this contest and a win by 13 points to get them through to the next stage of the Olympics competition. The other sides have pretty much all been confirmed. It is going to be USA versus Great Britain. It will be France taking on, more than likely, the Canadians, I believe, for this one, if New Zealand are able to get themselves the win. Australia will be taking on the Irish, and then New Zealand, they have already confirmed their spot through to the quarterfinals. They'll be taking on either the Fijians or the Canadians, or sorry, the Chinese, in fact, will be who they could be facing, and how the quarterfinals shaping up, just like that. So it's going to be close, hopefully, in this contest. The last performance from the Fijians was poor, to say the very least. They got dominated by China, which no one saw coming. We actually thought Fiji would have finished a lot higher up in that game than they did, but looking through at the starting lineup for the Fijians in this game, it is going to be the captain, De Vea, once again in the starting side. Boleki is also in the starting side for this match. Anna Maria Naimasi, Dalawau, Lamani, Nakoti, and also Wilson. So they have got Ripia Lunasau coming off the bench, and also Rocco Tuisinga, who did pretty well in that first contest up against the Canadians for match number one. Then for the New Zealanders, it will be Risi Pori Lane, the co-captain for the New Zealanders, Georgia Miller, Stacey Waka, also Sira Hirini. Her return from injury is quite an impressive one. Michaela Blyde, Jasmine Felix Otham, and then also Teresa Stefano, formerly known as Teresa Fitzpatrick. Those are the sides for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Only a couple minutes away from the kickoff of this match. Even if Fiji were to lose this game, though, I should mention they will have another game just around the corner. French looking good, says JYD. They are indeed, yep. And I feel like France, definitely with that home field advantage, they will be excited for the next two challenges, and maybe even three if they make it through to the final. But they will be taking on, I believe, Canada for their next game, more than likely, and then they would take on the winner of Australia versus Ireland if they can get past that game. We have got there Georgia Miller. Miller is important. She certainly will be. We look through New Zealand, have had two comfortable wins over Canada as well as China. No matter what, they will be facing more than likely one of those two sides in the quarterfinals, but at this stage it does seem like it is going to be the Chinese. I have to say there have been a few blowout games throughout the weekend, throughout the first 2 days of the Sevens, and I'm hoping that this one isn't going to be one of them. We need to see Fiji really fire back, similar to what South Africa did. They had 2 losses on their first day, but they came back for their next performance, and they were a lot stronger. Hi Hamish, glad I managed to catch this game. I missed the previous one due to work, says Aniki in there as well. But yeah, this game is, of course, the last of the quarterfinals, of the pool stages. Before heading into the quarterfinals, New Zealand will be playing at 7 a.m. New Zealand time, and then also for Fiji, more than likely they will be playing a little bit earlier. Where can you watch it, says Chewy? It does depend on whereabouts you are in the world. Do let me know what country you're trying to watch from, and I'll do my best to let you know. Fiji got nothing to lose in this game. A must-win for Fiji. Go Fijiana, says Misaki. And yeah, if they want to make it through to the quarterfinals, they will need to beat New Zealand by 13 points. Or the easiest way of looking at it is 2 converted tries. It would be a mountain to climb. And then ironically, they would have to play New Zealand again in the next game, only taking place in about 5 hours' time. And Canada held China 26-12, or handled China, says Gus. Yeah, China are a bit of an unpredictable team, which is why New Zealand, don't get me wrong, they'll be glad to be through to the quarterfinals, and they would admit that any challenge head-on is one that they want to come out on top, but this is an unknown Republic of China team, and that could be dangerous in a quarterfinal. Go Fijiana, says Amele in there as well. Both sides have made their way out onto the field. Michaela Blyde slapping her thighs at the moment, getting fired up. Boleki, she is supporting a bit of a wound underneath her right eye. We are just about ready to go for this match, ladies and gentlemen. Anyone who is new, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. There you go, Fijiana from Ameli, and it will be New Zealand kicking this one off with Risi Pori Lane. We are underway for the final pool stage game. New Zealand versus a Fiji. That one's going to be knocked back by the flying Fijiana side. Inside of their 22, wrestling her down was Georgia Miller. Nice step from Dalaiwal. Now Buliki going across. Fiji losing meters. That's a big shot coming in from Poldy Lane. Looks to the referee as if she thought she was going to get penalised for that one. New Zealand really trapping. Fiji only a couple meters out from the line, and Georgia Miller steals the ball, and that will be the try. Michaela meeting Bryce. Price was funny, says JYD. That's going to be nicely handled by New Zealand after the loose ball from Fiji. Pick up clean for the Black Ferns Sevens, and they will score the first try of this contest. And unfortunately for Fiji, they just couldn't get out of their own 22. We saw that quite a bit throughout the game between USA and France. USA couldn't exit their 22 for a long period of time, and it did end up really costing them. Georgia Miller, one of the young stars for this New Zealand side. Currently 7-0 at the moment after that kick has gone over. Right, so they've just said there, unless Fiji win this game by 74 points, New Zealand will top Pool A. Which I don't think is correct, because I don't think New Zealand... Fiji are only on 2 points. So I don't think he's quite got the maths right there, unless he's talking about also Canada's points differential, but I don't think theirs is too terrible at the moment either. 5 minutes remaining. Kickoff has gone unsuccessfully for New Zealand. They have put it out on the full, which will mean that it will be the Fijian scrum on the halfway line. So try and make a few extra meters here for Fiji and not have to attack from deep inside of their own 22. Instead getting to do so on the halfway line. Now Dalaiwal going across there to this left-hand side. The halfway line now. Good tackle made. Nai Masi again. We'll go back across to the right-hand side. New Zealand are really rushing up and causing Fiji difficulties with that rush defence. Sometimes, against certain sides, that rushing up doesn't really work. Fiji have gone for the kick in behind. They've seen the space there, but Michaela Blyde will be chasing after this one, having a couple looks over her shoulder to make sure that she has got time. She was almost tackled, but the missed tackle from Fiji leads to a good chance. Big fend there for Blyde. Goes back on the inside. New Zealand now find themselves inside of the 22. Georgia Miller will take it to ground. Sita Hineni joins the breakdown. Looking both ways there. Stefano. Let's get tackled again. Good defence from Fiji here, not allowing New Zealand to make those easy meters. That was fast. Hope Fiji puts up a fight. Says Aniki there. Still 4 minutes remaining in this first half. Still plenty of time to get back into this contest. But the big fend from Michaela Blyde on Talai Wilson. Tactic for New Zealand at the moment just seems to be dominate that possession. Do you think the Aussies took it easy earlier? Says Geza. I don't think so. I think that they made a few changes. Like Charlotte Caslick wasn't on the field throughout that whole game, which I think is definitely something they will do differently in their next game up against Ireland, as the two sides will be meeting in the quarterfinal. But I wouldn't say they went easy. I could see the frustration on the face of the Aussie side as, you know, even when you've got a few different players out there on the field, you still want to dominate. And they just weren't really able to do that up against Ireland. Caleb Blyde now with a run out wide. She's almost driven into touch, but manages to just keep the ball inside of the field of play. Great pace shown from Jasmine Felix Hotham, and she will score it between the posts. And she puts it down, so that will be the try now for New Zealand, the second of the match. And Tosa Fiji, says Daniel there. Michaela Blyde just somehow manages to keep that ball inside of the field of play. And then that next big run from Felix Hotham just pins her ears back and goes through. As soon as she found that gap, she was going to be extremely hard to be able to catch. And Ireland aren't a bad team, says JYD. Yeah, I feel like they've been a slow building side, I guess you could say, in this competition. They struggled in their first one up against Great Britain, but then they've slowly improved throughout the other games. Is Hotham related to Hotham? Says JYD. I'll have a quick look. I don't think so, though, but I could be wrong. She represented Waikato, so I don't know whether or not that puts her in the right region of the field to outdo her brothers. Oh, there might be a brother involved. Who are her brothers? Surely they tell us this. The younger brother, Noah. Yep, he is a relation. The younger brother, Noah Hotham. Now line out throw. Oh, short one from the Fijians. Going off to the right-hand side. Now Fiji, nice step there, almost going through. Looking for the offload. Wasn't a knock on. No, it's gone backwards. So Blakey now in position. And big fend over the top of Michaela Blyde, who has sat down in another offload. Michaela Blyde, after the last game, mentioned about how Fiji, they are the offload queens, was the direct quote. And they will just keep on going and going throughout a contest. Counter ruck coming from Georgia Miller, but the ball is still there for the Fijians now. Now, looks like it was almost a rolling ball for the Fijians there. They need to win this game by 2 tries. Exciting family. I'm pleased Christie is out. Says JYD, although I think he is also out based off an injury, unfortunately for Christie. And I know it's good news for Hotham, but hopefully Christie will be all right in the long run in terms of that injury status. That's going to be a great offload coming now. Georgia Miller gets the pass on the outside. Pace for Stacey Waka. And she will get the try now for New Zealand again. Now 15 seconds remaining in this contest, in this first half. So plenty of time left for New Zealand to score multiple more tries. Let's go Little Australia, says Ava Kalsimu. And there as well. But that is going to be 3 tries. Conversion attempt is just around the corner. The coach for New Zealand looking happy with how this is going. Now I should mention on New Zealand's side of the draw, in terms of the quarterfinals, they will face the winner of USA versus Great Britain. That's an interesting matchup. If it was New Zealand versus USA, yes, that's a bro Noah, says Daniel Watson. And now half-time in this match. The kick was successful, like I said, 21-0 for the New Zealanders here. This match going pretty similar to how Fiji's game up against China did go. Hamish, is it looking like New Zealand versus Australia all the way in this? Says Coding. It is setting up that way, although maybe France can cause an upset in the matchup against the Australians. They, of course, would have to get past Canada, I believe would be the case for France. Who's winning gold, says JYD. I think one of those 3 sides that I've listed, New Zealand, Australia, or or France. And I think that they are the 3 medalists, if I had to predict just off current feeling. Fiji will score, says Cosman. They should get themselves one. New Zealand versus USA and semi, then New Zealand versus Oz final. Says Blue here. What do you think, says Cosman? I would like to see them score. I just think it's going to be very challenging. This New Zealand defence has been getting stronger throughout this competition. They conceded a couple tries up against China, but then from there, or maybe it was just the one, but then Canada weren't really able to bust through that defence too much either. France dangerous, says JYD. Yeah, I know that Australia will not want to underestimate the French. Because if they do, that is normally when the French beat you. And how much gold medals are you expecting for New Zealand in this Olympics? I have absolutely no idea. To be honest, I don't even know how many athletes we've got at the Olympics for different events. And Canada have a chance to medal too, I think, says Gus. I want to say yes, but I just don't know if we've seen enough from them, if that makes sense. Although saying that, China are a tough side, it would seem, and they were able to get past them. But for Canada to medal, they would have to beat France in their quarterfinal. And that's hard to do up against the hosts. But if they were able to from there, I would say they've got a decent shot. But yeah, that first task of getting past France is going to be the big decider for the Canadians' future, I guess you'd say. Now Fiji going to be kicking off this second half. Tied by Anna Marie Naimasi. Going back across to the left-hand side. New Zealand are inside of their 22 with Georgia Miller. I think France beat Canada. Says JYD. That is going to be a deliberate knockdown from the Fijians, and this will be a yellow card now for Titavutu. She's only just made her way onto the field at half-time. And sadly now she has to make her way from the field for the next 2 minutes. I feel like this is not where the Fijians want to be at this stage of the match. Just looking through at the best goal differential. New Zealand have 64. Australia finished their group with 65. France have 92 as their differential. So for New Zealand to pass them, they would need... How many would they need? About 28 points, I think, in this game. 29 to get ahead. So we'll see whether or not New Zealand can do so. Then theoretically they will be the top qualifier, although it does not change too much in terms of who you will be playing. Now, it's going to be in the hands of Buleki, and the penalty does go the way of Fiji. We have one less lady on the field for the last minute or so, but they've actually looked possibly stronger throughout that time. Oh, it's going to be a Lunisau, receives the ball back, trying to step through. Another off, though, picked up by Sera Hirini. And she's trying to break forward. Tackled well, though. New Zealand back in possession. Stacey Waka. If there was a time to get her, it would have been there for Ripi Lunisau, but she does miss the tackle attempt. So Stacey Waka with her second try in this matchup. Crowd will start booing very soon. They do not like when there is stalling after a try has been scored. You can go from a favourite to an enemy very quickly if you do hang on to that one for a tad too long. New Zealand just finding that next gap, and Fiji's defence. Unfortunately, when you are playing with 6, there are often more than just the one gap that does open up. Stacey Waka getting her second try of this matchup, and that kick has gone over from Risi Pori Lane. Stacey Waka has made her way from the field. 4 tries so far throughout the Olympics for her. 4.5 minutes still remaining in this matchup between New Zealand and Fiji. Anyone wondering about when New Zealand's quarterfinal is, it is at 7 a.m. New Zealand time today, so plan is going to be to cover that one on the channel, plus maybe 1 or 2 of the other quarterfinals that are taking place. Slap back by Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe. The tackle made here, and Fiji being penalised for not rolling away, or in fact not releasing. Now New Zealand, another offload there. Bit of a miscommunication there for Tyler King. Now another stare, Michaela Blyde. She will score again. Oh, almost had a little bit late there with the tackle attempt from Fiji. But it is going to be another try. I know she gets the handshake afterwards, and 50k plus subs, dude. Congrats, richly deserved. Says Joseph, thank you very much, mate. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, we've had some great growth as of lately. I think that the Olympics has been a lot to do with it. Also, the internationals coming back for rugby. But yeah, we had it pretty much 4 years exactly after we started posting rugby-ish related stuff. Our first video on Rugby Challenge 4 came out on July 28th, I believe it was. So it's been a busy 4 years. We've done over 1,000 streams. In fact, I think we're closer to 2,000 streams that we have done on the channel. We've probably done about the same amount of videos throughout that time, maybe a little bit less. But yeah, it's been a busy few years on the Kiwi Lads channel, but 33-0 now for New Zealand after the kick has missed. 5 tries for Michaela Blyde here. Are you covering any other events? Not too sure yet. I'll see where we're at the end of the Sevens and see what kind of events are actually taking place. But with the tricky time zones, it may also depend on how much work we've got on, because it's been raining today, raining yesterday as well, which does mean that we're about 2 days behind building-wise. So if it's nice in the later stages of the week, we probably won't end up getting much of a chance to do the late night ones. Do you see cricket there in the next Olympics as a right move, or only we have 4 quality sides playing it? Says Cody. It'll be interesting to see how it goes, but there are a lot of new sports slowly getting added in. Fiji, goal please. They're in position at the moment, the Fijians. Alunisau. New Zealand would love to win this game. Fiji ending on a 0. Alunisau gets another offload this time to Luku Feva. Is it possible if Fiji get a score? Another offload, that is going to be the knock on. Playing the ball on the ground as well. Oh, could have been a penalty against the Fijians. T20, I think, was discussed. Says Geza, Sam Whitelock coming back for the end of year tour. Not that I know of. I know that Scott Barrett currently has an injury, but he is still in the Rugby Championship squad. So, yeah, I don't think Whitelock's going to put on the AB's jersey again. Just because he's decided that he's had enough, and fair enough as well. He's had a lot of caps to his name. Now 2 minutes remaining here. New Zealand, Australia and France. They have just mentioned those three sides in terms of favourite options for going far. And hey, tell me. I mean, I'm not playing for Fiji, so it's very hard to say. But they've looked like they've had some decent meters made, but they've just conceded another try in this one. And every time New Zealand score, that uses up an extra 30 seconds or so. Why is it so drastic difference between Fiji men, A1 silver, and women's team struggling to win a point? Serious coding. I mean, it's the same for South Africa. It depends on where the funding is. It depends on the depth and just the, I guess, the backing of those sides. Gigo Fiji. Serious pads ablaze. The try this time for New Zealand. Coming for Nuku. And Gigo New Zealand. Oh, sorry, go Fiji. 25 metres out from the line. Tyler King does miss it away to the right-hand side. Does put that ball down for New Zealand. Oh, we will go like this. We'll go like that as well. There we go. And like that. Now kicking this one off here. For New Zealand, nicely taken. Just outside of their 22, although Fiji now taking it deep inside of their 22. Another handling error. The ball's gone backwards, so New Zealand almost looking at the referee as if to say it is time for us to have that knock on. Michaela Blythe in the foot race with Boleki. She's got past her. And Fiji will score with 5 seconds remaining on the clock. Has Retallick retired as well? He has indeed from international rugby. That is going to be the try for Boleki right at the end of this game. Crowd celebrating it big time. We're looking at our first gold medal so far. Sears pads ablaze. And by the end of tomorrow, we will know. In fact, by the start almost of tomorrow, with the final taking place at about 5 a.m, I think it is. Try coming for the Fijians. Much deserved. They haven't really had a huge amount of attacking chances throughout these matches. But yeah, 5:45 is when that final is taking place tomorrow morning, ladies and gentlemen. But we are about to find out exactly who will be playing who in these matches. New Zealand will be pissed with that. There's JYD. Yeah, I think they'll be disappointed to concede that last-minute try. They do win this game, though, 38 points to 7. It's still a pretty decent scoreline. They will be, in terms of the overall points differential, the highest of any side throughout this Olympics competition, ahead of France, New Zealand versus China, GB versus USA, France versus Canada, and Australia versus Ireland for the quarters. Exactly right. 4 entertaining games. It's just more of the case of those next lower games. Where do Fiji go from here is the big question that I have got. I'll see whether or not they have got it all already sorted. So, still got France to be determined. Placing for 9th to 12th, I think, is still being determined as well. That will be taking place at 6 a.m. and 6:30 a.m. New Zealand time for those two contests. And the 4 sides that will be in there, it is going to be Brazil, Japan, Fiji, and South Africa. They play Brazil, so that would leave South Africa going up against the Japanese in the next match. And good quarters, says JYD, and winners a win if you win by 1 point or 30. Says coding, and what are the quarters again? So it is going to be New Zealand versus China, Great Britain versus USA, then it is France versus Canada, and then Australia versus Ireland as the 4 that are taking place. 7 a.m. for New Zealand's quarter-final. That game between USA and Great Britain will be at 7:30. Then the 8 a.m. game will be France versus Canada, and then 8:30 will be Australia versus Ireland in that match. New Zealand, USA, France, Australia. Says JYD for who is going to win those quarterfinals. But nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will get those live streams hopefully scheduled within the next few moments so that you know exactly who is going to be playing who and when they are taking part in those games. Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. We will be back for New Zealand versus China at 7 a.m. New Zealand time. We're going to get like 2 hours sleep if we're lucky for tonight. We go the goddamn Aussies again. Nuts, says Joseph, and New Zealand for the gold, says Daniel, and there as well. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. I will see you all for the next one.